Good morning. This class is again Science Humanities. This is the fourth week and the second class with the topic of TINA. There is no alternative. So we extended this idea from what we discussed since the first class of this one. This is the theme of Science Humanities. The first week for fact and truth. So we extend the truth into the risk situations. Then around the world, we have not only risk situations, but also everyday lives. We've been stressing with a certain purpose, a certain the philosophy as well. So that's why from everyday lives we care as the human being. Otherwise, we are not human. So we have something in the world to care. That's why we can become the human being. So that's why care is that much important. We care. We don't care. We don't have any world. We do not exist at all sometimes, most of the time. And then we are making everyday lives. Sometimes we feel loneliness, we feel monotonous. So that's why we can be inside some kind of feeling of despair, sometimes after frustrations. So then everyday lives to give us a lot of the big happiness and contentment as well, but sometimes it give us monotonous and feeling of nothing. But in return, give us a lot of potential, but we feel nothingness sometimes from those everyday lives. And then we do need to concern. So beyond the caring in the world, so next we can concern. That's the third week's topic with the terminology of concern as opposed to care. So we concern something to make an actuality from everyday lives, which are sometimes monotonous, sometimes frustrating, sometimes very easy to understand. With those things in the world, we care that everyone can understand. Nothing is not understood. So that much easy. That's why we can take that as our ground. The beyond ground, we can establish some identity from me, from you, and from us. So that's the we build in terms of them, the public. So public understand each other very easily with something we can understand. So in there, we don't have anything. We don't have nothing to not be able to understand. So that's why that everydayness. So that's the things that slowly connected to some kind of a TINA. So as I mentioned previously, we have something in everyday lives. It's very important for us to understand everything. And then we take those as our ground to understand, to build further for the future. Basically, understanding is toward the future, as I already mentioned in a few weeks, few weeks ago. And then at present time, we interpret. For the future, we understand. That's a big difference between terminology and definition between interpret and understand. Understand always towards and look forward the future. But interpret, we interrogate and search for the present situations at present. So based on something the being interpreted by ourselves based on everyday lives, and then we understand forward toward the future. So that's the basic thinking process for us to make a concept, to do science, and to design our future, even under pandemic, even under digital society. That's the kind of logic flow of this class. First, we start what we have in these everyday lives. We have a lot of facts. We have a lot of facts. Then we select to trust, select to believe as it is true. That's the truth. And then we have risky situations, but we can have a selection. We have an opportunity to design and transform those risky situations into opportunity for the future. So that's the risk situations, what risk tells us about the significance for us. And then we care everything in their lives, and then we concern as well to act. And then this week we have a TINA situations. Okay, TINA, there is no alternative. Margaret Thatcher, 1980s with Reagan. So she promoted and supported her ideology of capitalism in the name of neoliberalism. So here in Korea, we have the governments follow that neoliberalism. So for example, 국민의 정부, and by ex-president Kim Dae-jung and Nomuhyun and even Lee Myung-bak, and almost every the government in Korea, so they insist and follow the philosophy and ideology of neoliberalism. So the neoliberalism, 신자유주의, so in economics especially, in there they stress the concept of growth. So economic growth, there is no alternative except the growth in economy in the country, by the government, by the people who support the specific policies. So for example, there are lots of examples and supporting disaster, supporting the programs, energy policy, so environmental tactic to tackle with the climate emergency. So the carbon trading, the market, together with UN Institute and the US and other countries, big countries, we are doing trades with. So there are lots of options, but growth, nothing but growth for them to follow under the philosophy of economics, especially in neoliberalisms. So we already know how they set up very definite and distinct the character in the forms of a concept under the hegemony of TINA. So first they pointed out, they shows their observations. For example, economic goal, hammer is heavy. For example, the secondary they actually assert. So certain property of growth, the character of growth belong to the economy. So there are other options, but they selected these types of approach to make it more strengthened, to convince themselves, to convince other countries. And lastly, we have the strong, definite character in the name of a concept. So economy has the character of growth. And then we have a system of growth. So inside the system, we communicate towards growth. Other than that, we do not belong to that systems. So inside the TINA, in the name of growth, so we communicate to each other within system with a code, a specific code. So code is like a key. So we have a key, then we can open the door So within the aforementioned the system of growth, we have to grow. We have to grow. Otherwise, we perish. We are ejected. Okay, so we are not going to be isolated from other persons in a society, specifically within a system of growth. So that's why we compete each other. We are searching for some kind of a character to compete with the other persons. So that's why we try to get A+ instead of a D and C and B. So we are trying to go to a very good university like the Harvard, okay, like UNIST. So otherwise we feel failed actually. So that's the concept of growth. So we have the frame the procedures to make these types of a character, these types of concept to come up with the certain robust system of growth. So then we are going to announce there is no alternative. So then we care growth, but we do not concern the growth because we have to follow certain rope, certain guideline shown by the TINA system, right? The TINA system is economic system with growth. So we both care and concern economic systems to communicate each other within that. So that's the general procedure to get at the TINA. So there are other TINA as well. So we discuss about economic systems, especially with the topic of growth, with a theme and character and concept of the growth. We even under the last year we have a minus growth, but so we never actually argued that usage of a specific terminology of a minus with the growth. So we can say we could not grow, or we distracted, we selected other directions to operate our economic systems. Rather than those usage of different terminology, we use what? Minus growth. The fact that we use the minus growth is that we have in our mind a certain frame of growth. So sometimes we can recover to grow positively with the plus against the minus. So the purpose, I believe, for us to use these types of minus means that we can recover. We stick to the positive growth. So that's the TINA. TINA's power to control our thinking, to control our the intentions and endeavor to overcome these pandemic situations. The secondly, we already discussed one on a Tuesday class with sanitations. There is no TINA except flushing toilet followed by wastewater treatment plant. So without flushing toilet, how we actually keep this sanitation as clean as possible. So we know how we through 3 different steps. First one, pointing out. Secondary, assertions, and then making concept to come up with certain robust systems. Within system, we only communicate. So then we have a structure of a TINA. So flushing toilet system, TINA again. Otherwise, we have to go to a certain dirty toilet in the countryside. Even countryside that they are using the flushing toilet right now. But when you go to a certain temple, very old temple has a flushing toilet as well, but some temples have still ecological toilet, traditional toilet, which looks very dirty. You can experience, but other than that, so every toilet in the world, generally, normally acknowledge the situation. So there are flushing toilet, which is TINA systems. Climate change, how we actually tackle with climate change, climate emergencies. So as I mentioned before, everyone trying to solve this one in a specific way, probably not, because TINA systems exist with climate emergency. So carbon trading systems. And some countries and some industries which consume a significantly highly amount the carbon emissions out of their factories, they have to pay some kind of a tax, carbon tax to UN. The UN actually distributed those the fund to other underdeveloped countries to develop properly to save Earth in the name of the climate change, the mitigations to achieve goal 2030s. So to sustain with the sustainable the concept and temperature of Earth. So from the carbon dioxide and other the warming gases. So there is no other alternative except the carbon trading as well. There are many, but we already discussed. So we've been making very robust character and concept of the carbon emission trading systems under the governance of the UN. And educations, what kind of a TINA with the educations? We have a university systems. So somebody mentioned, or we believe university is TINA. So except the university, how we actually transfer our knowledge to next generations to raise very good elite systems, to promote elite system, to provide human resources into the many different sectors of government and industrial sectors and private even and other activities. Okay. So do you have any idea how we tackle with or face against the university system with this education? TINA, do you believe TINA? So right now it seems right, but we have a problem right now in the education system in the name or centering around the university. So we are going to discuss this one today, how we overcome, how can we design a new form of educations, even if it is very difficult, not easy at all. Right now, we don't have any clue. We don't have any single clue to design the new form of education system, but we have to try. That's our responsibility from the academic sector, academic person, as a scholar, as a scientist, engineer, and a business person. How we make a business model of a new educations, new climate world, sanitation system, the economic economic revolutions. So next example already mentions briefly and democracy with voting. To achieve democratic politics, so we are using voting systems. Next month we have the voting to elect mayor into different over two different metropolitan cities, Seoul and Busan. I'm not sure you vote or not, but we have only methodologies and a system of voting to complete our politics of democracy. There is no exception at all to achieve our democracy with the vote. Okay, how about the art? How about the art? So we have the special system of art, especially with the painting. So we have a gallery systems. Other than gallery, almost virtually almost nothing, okay, to enjoy art and to communicate with the art concept between artists and the public. So gallery has a very big the business model. So they collect, somebody collects a lot of artwork and for investment sometimes. So they like, of course, but they collect sometimes only for investment. Okay, art is like that. So we can increase other opportunity, we developed other systems to enjoy from the sector of the public art. So we can think about it and we can design, because we have a lot of tools. I already mentioned, so you are digital generations born after 1989. So then with the help of the older generation, you can design a lot of different systems to tackle with old one. For example, art. Okay, so that's the we discuss in second. So our energy is Tina. So this is the first topic to be discussed and to ask you to upload your answer to the app of Street Smart for your participations. The first example is energy systems. Our energy system is Tina. That's the first question is from myself. Why only one option with one price by Capco? Hanjeon in Korean language. Is that Tina? What do you think? So when charging your smartphone, to do these types of class, we need electricity. So there is no exceptions. We need electricity, of course. But how we select electricity resources? Either wind, either thermal or solar or bio or nuclear power. So I'm not talking about which one is better than the other. I'm not talking about this one option to be preferentially selected by you over the other options. So I'm not talking about our selections to select this one. This energy system to be or should be connected to political system as well. So we elect the president and some kind of party to decide the energy system. But energy system is not independent from the political systems. System sometimes had to better be independent from other systems. So that's why we can select our preferred energy source. So what if we have these types of the options in our home, in your office, in the university, the classroom? Once we get in to use the projector for the class, I can select the nuclear power if I prefer nuclear power. I use the circuit, so code of the solar. If I prefer to select the solar power over the other systems. I said if. What if? So I think this word can be designed in these types of a way. Even if Capco, even if energy supply the corporation like Hanjeon, supply system is Hanjeon, they provide one source, but we selected this one, and then we pay differently. At the end of this month, I pay, depending on my selection, different price to the government, to the energy supply. What do you think? So then we select the one option, for example, solar power over the other one. Or the other person is selected continuously all the months in nuclear power because they support the policy of solar or nuclear. And then this one connected to energy policies. So we don't have to stick to president, the decision by president, decision by majority party, or endless dispute and discussion between the party, between the governments. So we selected this one and connected to automatically to the democracy. Instead of voting, instead of our typical representative of the energy policy, but we selected our own energy source and then design our society newly in the innovative ways, I believe. So we can pick our future. So this is not only one option. So we can extend this one to other things as well. So if you ride the bus from the UNIST to the CGV and the theater, if you want to watch a movie the weekend, and then you can use bus from the UNIST to the multiplex theater, and then when paying your fare for the ride of a bus to the bus, and then you click the differences. So right now we have only one option, right? So whatever you want, you can pay only one. But this bus is operated by electricity, and then you pay differently. So I selected this bus transportation, public transportation should be operated by nuclear power. Or other persons prefer to use a bus to be operated by electricity, by biogas, solar panel, even fossil fuel as well. So it depending on you. So then the fare, bus 요금, is slightly different, not that much. So we have a different fare, and then select it, and then throughout all countries we have a statistics which percentage actually use nuclear power, which percentage use the bioenergy, which percentage being used for today to ride the bus or to use other electricity by certain percentage from different resources. About that. So then we can extend many others, coffee machines and cafe. You order cafeteria, cafe con leche, or macchiato, straight, or Dutch coffee, but pay differently with a different fare, different price, because you selected those coffee machine to be operated by different electricity source. Okay, so there are many different options for us to propose. Otherwise, government decide, right? Government, of course, listen to our opinion, but they decide whatever. And then if you don't like certain policies from the government, we have to wait another 5 years, another 4 years to replace a president and other the political persons. But in this way, so every day we look around and identify our character in terms of electricity between us, between the public. So the next day, so someone selected the other way, so we have a different statistics of the electricities and other policies as well, everyday basis. At 8 o'clock from the news broadcasting, so we recognize our our shape as an individual. We are not guided other line, but we guide ourselves. I think that's the alternative, democratic implementation. So I know this is not easy at all. I know, I agree, I acknowledge this is not easy at all. But someone dream of, someone have a vision to design our society like this, and then sometimes we can change. We can change. That's the, I believe. So I believe I have a one truth. So I'm not going to force you to have the same truth as mine. Okay, I've been stressing that to you at many different times, right? I don't have to, or I must not force you to have the same opinion as me. But I suggest I show my truth because I believe. So that's my belief of democratic in terms of energy systems to be against the TINA. Okay, so this is participation one. So given an example from your idea, from your imaginations of TINA system right now, on the app of the March 25th, TINA-2 on the app of Street Smart, the please. Okay, I'm giving you a few minutes to answer to that question on the app. So then the next item we would like to get at to be discussed is the situations like that when TINA has a problem. So the TINA sometime and many different times we have a problem from TINA, but the who made this TINA systems continuously insist the TINA is TINA. Okay, there is no other options. So they instead of acknowledging they have a problem, they failed actually from their TINA systems. Instead, they insist that this is only one procedure, one aspect of the system operations under the code. Okay, the specific the system has to be implemented, especially with the tools to operate, to open their code into actuality in the present situations. So for example, economic depressions. So on the pandemic, we have a problem right now in economics, right? So there are many different economic problems, but economic person, please carefully listen to what they told us. They acknowledge, they agree, they failed from their economic systems with the credit, with the stock, with the money, with the policy of economics. They never acknowledge their failure. So they always use same logics to be used to function under the normal situation as well as here in the pandemic situations. To bring excuses to explain the present problem actually generated from TINA system, but they never acknowledge their failure. And then they use the same tool, same code to tackle with. That's why we continue suffering from the problem, okay, caused by the system. At least under the pandemic situations, very harsh situation, I understand. The older systems cannot solve any problem at all. then we acknowledge, then we can use, or we can form newly, we can form the new system, because we are at an emergency situations, and then solve this problem at present, and then we can come back to all the systems if they insist to keep that. Okay, but they use all the system codes. That's why they increase they reduce interest rate, and then they issue more currency, more money into the society, and they have a government debt to supply financial aid to a certain group of the the companies. That's the exactly same activity that being used under the normal situation of the economic system. Do you think we can solve those one? So I'm not the economic persons, but I have a logic. I have my thought, right? So then I can have my truth. I can have my truth based on my knowledge, based on my belief, and then we can discuss. So what could be a solution to that economic difficulties, economic depressions under the pandemic situations? Everyone looking up to the government right now, but instead of that, we can build our average understanding of the economic system between the public, because that's very difficult. But we are not expert, we are not professional, but we are still human. We can connect each other through the internet side. Right now we are living in the digital society, digital era, so we can have a knowledge. So then we do exchange our understanding and knowledge between us, then increase average understanding, average knowledge of economics, ecological interaction with the currency, even with Bitcoin, even with the cryptocurrency, even with the credit, even with the debt. So we to some extent the successful to be the stock investor, name Donghak Gemi, right? So then from the result of the fact that we increase our average understanding of the stock between us about economics of the investment for the specific company and various different company or emerging the venture company. And then we do something because we concern, right? We believe something, and then we extend those belief into concerning levels by averaging, increase average knowledge, average communications. So that's why we have everyday lives knowledge, everyday lives of knowledge about stock investment. By looking at the different one, unemployment problem, inequality. We care, but we do not concern right now. Of course, I fully understand and agree this is not easy at all to complete everything, to establish everything. But otherwise, we always stick to one very big, the big brother types of government. Here in Korea, of course, but other countries as well. I'm not talking about our government, Korean government. So on the pandemic and other crises, from the economic and politics, educations and energy systems, once we increase our average understanding between us, between the public, then we can contribute different way. The successful example as Dongha Gaming for stock market. Then other thing as well, energy systems, then we can increase our average understanding and average knowledge of the economic as well, unemployment, fair trade, energy systems, democracy, the medical system, and sanitation as well. So here in UNIST, as I mentioned, the UNIST research group and the Center of Science Walden propose what? PV system, new different types of toilet connected to energy. Okay, here is the first time from the UNIST in the at the lab, living lab, titled the Science Cabin Chip, and then we propose. Whether they accept it or not is not matter at all. Okay, so at least we are doing our responsibility. And energy systems, we do propose other systems by increasing understanding and knowledge between the public, and then the government and UN and the big countries like the US and China cannot control us, because we are still at the elevated, higher levels of understanding, mutual communications with the knowledge. So we increase our democracy, we increase our sanitations by increasing our inequality tackle with the welfare, for example, and then we are not to be controlled by big brothers. So that's my suggestions. So Tina is my concerns. So understand towards future. So then we are developing what? Idle talk. So sometimes we chorus. We sing a chorus. We sing as a chorus to communicate in different way, right? Long time ago in Greek, when played by professional actor, between a scene, some amateur types of a chorus group actually sing a song together. Why they have those types of a format? The professional play, between professional plays, there are amateur types of chorus. Please put this situation into the present situation of politics, the present situation of all the systems. So all the professionals, all the expert act professionally. And then between those, then we as amateur, by increasing our average character, average concept, average understanding of knowledge, then we sing a song to deliver message as a chorus. This is the amateur side. So we can do. That's the democracy, I believe. That's the democracy, I believe. To be against the Tina trap. Okay. So then if you have a problem, if we have a problem, then we had better use the logic of the ambiguity with more than one interpretations. Now we have a energy system for example, as I already told you, and then we have a problem with energy. How we overcome those problems against the TINA systems? They continue to show us a TINA system that they've been deciding energy policy, energy price, and then they've been asking us to save energy or to invest some money into their system as well. there's no other options for us to do that, which is one typical example of a TINA. We have a problem, and then we have to consider from the ambiguity concept, more than one interpretations. So we have to interpret our system differently from their systems under the TINA, on the TINA track. And then we can propose something after increasing our average understanding with the elevated knowledge and interpretation as well. Okay, so example with the ambiguity against the TINA systems. What could be? So solar panel right now. So we have a policy, energy policy from the government with the solar panel and the wind generations, even on agriculture farm. But we can think about the solar panel. So after we understand the solar panel and the generated, even without professional, very deep knowledge of a solar panel, we know after communicating between us, between the public, to increase average understanding of a solar panel, scientific factor, scientific knowledge, and then we build our solar panel instead of on the agriculture farm by deforestation, but onto the roof of the building at the metropolitan city, for example. So if you decide to build a solar panel, right now, so you call the company to build one. So they suggest certain things. There's no other option from us except investing money into the solar panel. But if we increase knowledge, increase understanding, average understanding between the public, then we can decide which side the solar panel can be placed either at the agriculture farming land or building roof at the metropolitan city. Okay, that's the I believe from some kind of a solution from the concept of ambiguity. Hydrogen energy as well. Hydrogen energy is hot right now, right? 수소경제. And there are, how many options do you know? We are scientists, we are engineers, right? We are business persons to design economics behind the hydrogen energy. How many options do we have? Right now it's about 3. The first one, the byproduct hydrogens. So it's a most economic solution to produce hydrogen from the factory already exists. In the middle of their factory, the process, we can extract hydrogen. This is most desirable situations for us to take hydrogen. That we call that as the byproduct hydrogen. But very low portion of this one we can use to produce enough hydrogen, right? But secondly, we can make hydrogen from electrolyzing water. It's the most clean technology, I believe. But we need another energy from probably coal, probably wind, probably solar, probably from nuclear power. So second option is not that much eco-friendly, sustainable technology. How about the third, the bioenergy from waste, the hydrogen from waste. So we call bioenergy. So we use the food waste into the methane. The methane that can be reacted with under the hot high temperature with the usage of certain types of heating, then we convert those methane into hydrogen. Okay, 3 different options. So I'm not sure. So we communicate with these types of that, with the different options between the public. Of course, we can use the information from the government, but we increase understanding of hydrogen instead of just accepting policy of hydrogen. And then we increasing knowledge, mutual understanding of the public through idle talk between the public. 대중의 어떤 큰 합창과 같은 idle talk. Okay, that's the chorus. That's the chorus between the main activity, mainstream of activity. The public should use, I believe, should use this type of idle talk of the energy of hydrogen with a different option between the public as well to increase average understanding. And then we implement, we assert, we can make a new system different from TINA system, different from TINA systems. That's the only way to be against the TINA, from the ambiguity. That's my belief. That's my truth with the college, the personally. Okay, so time is limited, I believe. So the skip this participation too. And then Tina again, how we tackle with how to be against that, the tranquility after idle talk. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? So idle talk. What do you mean by idle talk between the public? As I mentioned, between the public, difficult thing to understand, difficult, can become as easy one between the public after certain communication in terms of with respect to idle talk. 여러분 이게 무슨 말이냐 in Korean. 여러분 아무리 어려운 거라도 일단 굉장히 전문적인 지식이 있다 하더라도 대중이 소통을 시작하면 쉽게 변할 수밖에 없습니다. 이게 핵심이라는 거죠. 그러니까 이것을 포기하는 것과 나 이거 어려워서 못하겠어 라는 것과 이것을 대중의 언어로 가지고 와서 끊임없이 하다 보면 지금 동학개미가 그런 굉장히 좋은 예라고 생각합니다. 그게 에너지든 민주주의든 뭐 수소경제든 뭐든지 간에 가져와서 이 대중의 언어 속에서 아이들 톡이 되게끔 하면 이 뜨겁던 감자들이 조용해지기 시작하면서 경쟁력이 생기고 대중의 힘이 형성된다는 말을 저는 하고 싶은 겁니다. Okay, so tranquility as opposed to some kind of a hasty, hurry, very hot situations with a different concept under the TINA. To be against the TINA, tranquility between the public after idle talk by increasing average understanding of knowledge of a concept underlying against some systems under the TINA. Instead of giving up some difficult things and stick to decision from the big brother, like 1984 in the novel. And then we try to things. So for example, K-pop is right now is tranquility. After very hot issues, a long time ago with the K-pop song, nobody fully understand this one. But right now, everyone understand, right? Even if we do not have a full understanding, full knowledge behind the K-pop, but everyone knows K-pop from the Korea, from the world. a long time ago, almost the 15 years ago. So there are big the policy from the government, NTBT. So they invested a huge amount of money into research of nanotechnology and biotechnology. Right now, and then at that time, after a certain period of time of research, the public gave up to understand nanotechnology and biotechnology. But after certain research, if the public, with the help of scientists, try to increase their average understanding of knowledge, of the understanding of the concept from the nanotechnology and biotechnology, then we can achieve certain levels of tranquility from the idle talk of that things through the course types of participation in that specific area. Then we can achieve certain public achievement against coronavirus, against other energy problems with the usage of nanotechnology. Of course, we are doing it right now, I believe, because we invested a lot of money in nanotechnology, biotechnology. That's why we have a certain higher understanding, but not enough, I believe. So right now we invest a lot of money for hydrogens, artificial intelligence, and then we, as a scientist and engineer and business person, have responsibility to increase the mutual average understanding of AI and hydrogen energy. That's my responsibility. That's our responsibility, because they invest the money to UNIST and scientists, not the government, from the people. The people believe us. For us to try to our responsibility to increase their average understanding of knowledge and concept. How about the democracy? Okay, that's why I ask you continuously to propose idea against the TINA systems. So for example, mayor, we have elections next week, and how about my idea? This is just an example of the mayor with 40%, 30%, 10% roles, because they got the voting percentage by 40, 35, 10. Instead of electing only one mayor, only one leader, then we have a multiple leader, because we support that much, that specific percentage between. So you may answer and give me. So we may have a chaos. We may have difficulties. We do not have any problem and chaos from one president, one mayor, one political system. Okay, so that much we have to challenge the framed and the fixed idea of the systems under the TINA. That we can change education system, we can change the political system, we can change energy systems as a scientist, as an engineer, as a business person. That's my message. Okay, how we actually tackle with education systems and art. Education system, okay, and art with gallery is one option, as I already mentioned. But I propose my center, and under UNIST Science Walden Center, propose differently artist campus net So there are one platform. You can visit this one after this class and sometime in the afternoon. And art can be everywhere. 24 hours. This is 24 hours streaming canvas, even at the moment without artist. Sometimes very monotonous and boring, but when you visit the platform, then you can actually enjoy without artist. Artwork sometimes stop, but you visit there, the being streamed continuously without stopping. Without artists, you can wait artists to come back, and then you can communicate differently. And then you can buy canvas very at relatively low prices, like sound source. Then every money from the public and then transport to the artist at all. Artist or except the very small amount of tax. Okay, the public can either talk once again. Either talk is that much important. To be against, to be in a major stage of this society. That's the new artist the system. So this is a site and platform, artist campus. You can visit sometime if you want, and then you can enjoy these types of streaming campus. Even without artists, you can appreciate. You can wait the artist to come back, and sometimes you can communicate with the artist by 3,000원. Okay, you can buy this one for a month to enjoy 24 hours of streaming, and every expenses and payment will be given to artist. So we operate this one by UNIST right now. Okay, education is the last three. My question, have you ever imagined education system without university system? Without university, we can still educate next generation, do you think? And do you think we can function university without degree? Without degree, we still have a university system? Do you think we can operate the classes without grade? Do you think I can operate this class without grading? What do you think? So I've been telling you idle talk. Nothing is not missing. Nothing is not understood. So from this one, we may have different ideas. So we cannot fix the ranking system for a human being. Instead of that, we can how we design our education systems. For example, this is my idea. So we don't have any yet, the system of this one. Then after this class, after this the discussions, then you mutually evaluate ourselves. If you feel my talk and your colleagues' talk is very imaginary, creative, so you give each other with this the imaginations, capability of imagination, capability of theory, capability of sensing, and the feeling relations. With these types of that, you give and receive, give to colleagues, and you receive these types of evaluation from others, and then combine everything. And then after 1 year, then you have your statistics rather than transcript. So we are testing these types of data from next week. So we are challenging from this science humanity class, we are challenging new systems because we are continuously having some problem from the older systems under the concept of TINA, under the frame of TINA. That's why I would like to testing and challenging new systems with the education, with the democracy, with the energy systems. Okay, so next week, we are going to discuss about the system and environment, but we also challenging new app of a mutual evaluation without ranking, but how we actually make a grade from professor with the students participating in this class. That's my worry, that's my concern. Okay, so thank you for your attention, and I'll see you next Tuesday. And I uploaded every the class material in the Blackboard. And if you have any questions, please email me, or sometimes you can drop by my office to discuss this one. Okay, thank you for your attention. Thank you.